Hey everyone, this is Nick Morgan at the National Weather Service in Peachtree City, here with your weekly weather briefing on Thursday, February 9th, 2023. Here are some of the highlights for this briefing. Really just an unsettled weather pattern through much of the forecast. A rainy weekend ahead with heavy rainfall expected across central Georgia with up to 5 inches possible. And then windy conditions as well as this cold front passes through with wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour. And then there's also the potential for some snow on Sunday night. However, this is a low confidence forecast as of right now. Here's what we're thinking so far. The forecast timing for that would be midnight to about 8 a.m. Sunday. It's either going to be a cold rain, a rain-snow mix, or a wet snow. The profiles we're looking at right now are not really suggesting a freezing rain or sleet expected. As usual, the North Georgia mountains are going to have the best chances of this accumulation. Right now, we're thinking up to about an inch. There is the potential for that rain-snow mix or snow along and north of I-20 just for a few hours on Sunday morning. That does mean the Atlanta metro. We're not expecting impacts at this time, and the good news is that we're expecting temperatures to quickly rebound on Sunday afternoon with highs in the upper 40s to low 50s to really minimize impacts, if any. And taking a quick look at our current conditions, you can see some light rain showers across north and central Georgia right now. And if you take a quick look back at Alabama, along the line of Nashville to Birmingham, you can see a thin line of showers. That's our cold front. Expecting that to push through later in this afternoon, and there's the potential for some non-severe thunderstorm development as it pushes through later this afternoon to the evening. Not expecting a widespread severe threat with this. Just been too cloudy and we don't have the parameters needed. But it will bring elevated winds through tonight and into tomorrow with those wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour like we were talking about. And taking a quick look at the potential severe weather for tomorrow, Friday, February 10th, there is a marginal risk of severe thunderstorms through Friday evening. This is due to that cold front that we were talking about in the last slide, continuing to push through the area and then eventually stalling out across southeast Georgia. The main threats that we can see, southeast of Dublin will more than likely be damaging winds and the very low end potential for a brief spin-up tornado. And then just taking a quick overview of the wet weekend ahead. This is picking up right after that frontal system stalls out over Georgia. That's going to be the main catalyst to kick off our rainmaker for the weekend. These rainfall amounts and then the intensity of the rain is going to increase near that stalled front on Friday through the day. And then Saturday, as that upper level low, as you can see, approaches from the west. At this time, the heaviest rainfall is probably going to be along the Columbus to Macon, Augusta line, or just to the south and east of that line. Right now, we're still forecasting rainfall totals of 3 to up to 5 inches possible along, and south of that Columbus, Macon, Augusta line. And here's the storm total rainfall forecast from the previous model that we were looking at. A strong gradient from northwest to southeast Georgia, around half an inch up in Dade County, all the way down to, 4 inches in Macon. That's a pretty strong gradient, really resolving itself along the I-85 corridor. Again, still expecting those highest totals along the Columbus, Macon to Augusta line and southeast of that. Good news is that this is a low overall flood risk. We do have some rivers that could go into minor flooding, but not expecting a widespread flooding event at this time. And thankfully, we're expecting this rain to move out during the morning hours on Sunday. If you're paying attention a few slides ago to the model run, you probably saw a few blue pixels mixed into there. And yes, there is a snow potential for Sunday. So let's talk about it for a quick second. As that upper low moves into Georgia on Saturday night, we're going to see that wraparound moisture on the north side of this low that could bring the potential for some snow, that rain-snow mix, or just even a cold rain along and north of that low track. Well, what does that mean for us? Well, right now, as you can see, this is a very low confidence forecast. This is just given different model solutions on what path that low could take. But for now, let's just kind of focus on what we are confident on. So our best estimate on this timing is that it's going to be between midnight on Sunday through 8 a.m. on Sunday morning. And we're expecting this to either be a cold rain, a rain-snow mix, or either a wet snow. Good news, the profiles do not support freezing rain or sleet or anything like that. So we'll take that as a win. This is primarily going to be across North Georgia and the North Georgia mountains, with the accumulations currently forecast to up to an inch, primarily less than, with those locally higher amounts at the highest elevations. Caveat, this forecast can and will most likely change as we get new data and we get closer to the event and we kind of narrow where that path is going to take. Well, I've talked about it so much, like why does this forecast, path matter so much? Well, if this low moves a little bit further south, it could bring the potential for that snow, rain, snow mix a little bit further south into that yellow circled area that you're seeing for a few hours on Sunday morning. The good news is not expecting, major impacts, if any, and that surface temperatures are going to be above freezing and into the mid 30s for the duration of the event. Again, further minimizing impacts if there are any. But speaking of impacts, I have another slide coming up and we'll talk about that in just a second. And here's a quick look at the winter weather impacts graph that I was talking about. This is pulled from the Weather Prediction Center, and this is their Winter Storm Severity Index, or WSSI, and it essentially just shows where you could see winter storm impacts or where there's the potential for some winter storm impacts. And as you can see, that light blue area across North Georgia, again, listed in the winter weather area, drive carefully, winter weather conditions, just highlighting the higher elevations of North Georgia. Like we previously mentioned, given that those surface temps are going to be above freezing or into the mid 30s for the majority of the area, aside from those highest elevations, and then temperatures again quickly rebound into the upper 40s to low 50s, we're not anticipating any significant impacts at this time. But again, like we mentioned previously, stay tuned to the latest updates because this is a low confidence forecast and we will be keeping an eye on what track that upper low decides to take moving forward. And taking a quick look, here's the 7-day forecast. I know this says Atlanta, but this is going to be for the majority of the area. We're going to be in a very unsettled weather pattern over the next 7 days with multiple disturbances pushing through the area. We have that frontal system pushing through today. We have that upper low moving in through Sunday. We have a little bit of a dry reprieve on Monday, but some gusts up to 25, and then we have another frontal system pushing through on Tuesday into Wednesday. Thanks to a cold front. But the good news is with that cold front, not expecting severe weather at this time. But again, it is a good 6-7 days out, so we'll keep an eye on that as well. And just to run over everything again, here's the summary. We do have that rainy weekend ahead with the severe weather possible tomorrow in southeast central Georgia with those gusty winds and the low end potential for a brief isolated tornado. Then moving through the weekend, we're going to see that heavy rainfall event with primarily along in southeast to I-85 with those highest amounts around middle Georgia. And then we're going to see those windy conditions as that frontal system pushes through Saturday with those wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour. And then continuing on through the rest of the weekend, we have that snow potential with that low forecast confidence. Right now, the current timing is going to be between midnight and 8 a.m. Sunday. We're expecting either a very cold rain, that rain-snow mix, or a wet snow, but thankfully not expecting a freezing rain or sleet thanks to the profile soundings that we're seeing. Best chance of accumulations is going to come across the North Georgia mountains and the higher elevations. Caveat, there is the potential for that rain-snow mix or snow along and north of I-20 just for a few hours on Sunday morning, dependent on where that upper low decides to track. But good news is that temperatures are going to quickly rebound on Sunday afternoon with those highs in the upper 40s to low 50s, minimizing those impacts that will be felt, if any. And that is all I have for today. If you have any comments or questions about this upcoming event, please feel free to reach out to us. Give us a call at 770-483-1133. You'll talk directly to a forecaster. Reach out to us in NWS chat or via social medias. Thank you. Have a great weekend.